That first cup of coffee in the morning, magic. The second, still great, but by the fourth, you're jittery and questioning your life choices. That's marginal utility in action. And in Austrian economics, it explains everything from how we value goods to how we build markets. Today, we break it down. So what is marginal utility? Marginal utility is the additional satisfaction or value a person gets from consuming one more unit of a good or service. The key insight: the more you have of something, the less value you place on each additional unit. Quote, "Value does not exist outside the consciousness of men. It is therefore subjective." Unquote. Austrian economics revolutionized value theory by replacing the classical labor theory of value with the subjective theory of value, driven by marginal utility. Classical economists believed the value of a good was determined by how much labor went into producing it. But this failed to explain why diamonds are more expensive than water, even though water is essential for life. The diamond-water paradox, which is also known as the paradox of value. Why are diamonds, which are non-essential, expensive, while water, which is essential for life, is cheap or even free? Early economists like Adam Smith, they struggled to explain this paradox using the labor theory of value, which stated that the value of a good was determined by the amount of labor that goes into producing it. So the theory couldn't account for why water, which is crucial for survival, often costs nothing, while diamonds, which have very little practical use, are extremely expensive. Austrian economists like Karl Menger, William Stanley Jevons, and Leon Walras, they independently discovered marginal utility in the 1870s, essentially solving the diamond-water paradox and changing economic thought forever. Quote, "The value attached to a good is determined by the importance of the satisfaction which is expected from it." End quote. First, diminishing marginal utility, which is each additional unit of a good brings less additional satisfaction. Subjective value. Utility is determined individually, not objectively. Ordinal preference. Austrians rank preferences, they don't try to measure them. Quote, "Our knowledge is fragmentary and dispersed. The significance of marginal utility is that it works with these scattered preferences, not against them." End quote. So marginal utility helps explain trade, pricing, even why you might skip dessert tonight. It's all about how much you value something at the margin, right now. Austrians don't use heavy math equations like mainstream economists. They focus on the human behavior, action, and choice. And marginal utility is at the core of that. Economies are made up of millions of individuals making choices for themselves. Price formation. Prices arise from subjective valuations between buyer and seller. Opportunity cost. What you give up is based on what you value most at the margin. And entrepreneurship. Business decisions hinge on estimating what others will value most next. Quote, "The concept of marginal utility is indispensable to all economic analysis. Without it, we cannot understand human action at all." End quote. So some critics argue that marginal utility is too subjective to model large-scale economies, but Austrians argue that all value is subjective. There is no central value chart for society, only individual preferences and choices. Quote, "All things are subject to the law of cause and effect. Value arises only when the existence of a good is necessary for the satisfaction of human needs." End quote. Marginal utility isn't just a theory. It explains why we shop, why we save, and why a bottle of water is priceless in the desert, but practically free at Costco. It grounds Austrian economics in reality, individual human action. If you found some value in this, please like, subscribe, drop a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.